Just in case you've been living under a rock for the last couple of months and missed it, there's a new anime in town that has everybody hooked and everybody talking. Although, to be fair, so many people have been hooked since the manga dropped in 2019. However, the anime has brought Spy Family to the attention of the rest of the world in a big way, and Saturdays, at least for the times when it was running, have never been more interesting, at least for me. So whilst I await the return of the anime in October, I figured I could film a quick video lauding all the many reasons, 10 in all, why we love Spy Family and why it is just so damn good. Oh, and there will not be any spoilers, so you can rest easy on that. Now, the first reason why you should get into Spy Family is the story. Spy Family is a spy. Duh. I mean, it's right there in the title. It's a spy comedy based off of the manga with the same name, written and illustrated by Tatsuya Endo, that centers a family made up of a spy dad, an assassin mom, and a telepathic daughter. There is an eventual addition to their family that I wouldn't go into because of spoilers, but the entire premise of the story has this very dysfunctional family coming together for the sole purpose of, in the case of the father, Loid Forger, codenamed Twilight, a spy from the country of Westalis, who is currently in Ostania for a mission to stop both countries from going into war by getting his precocious child admitted into the elite Eden Academy, except he doesn't have a child, which is where our beloved main character Anya, the daughter, aka the telepath, comes in. I say main character because, let's be honest, Anya is the one carrying this entire show on her peanut-loving, carrot-eating, scrawny shoulders. Anyway, as I was saying, Loid doesn't have a kid, which is why he goes to an orphanage and adopts Anya, a young girl who wants a family but who he doesn't know is a telepath. But she's seemingly brilliant, keyword there being seemingly, and voila, they become a family. However, upon finding out that his status as a newly minted single father wouldn't get him the entry he needs into the prestigious school, as we all know, in the immortal words of Jane Austen, it is a truth universally acknowledged that a spy in possession of a secret mission must be in want of a wife. Enter the wife and mother, Yor, codenamed Thorn Princess, an assassin who realizes that in order to continue her work, needs to create the facade of being happily married and a part of a family, and thus we have the Forgers, 3 people with different goals that align and who in turn trying to make this family thing work in the most hilarious of ways. And that is a perfect segue to the second thing that makes Spy Family so good, the comedy. This story is hilarious AF. I've spent many a night chuckling at the Forgers' antiques, both in the pages of the manga and in the anime. There's just something effortlessly funny about a spy who has always worked alone, having to deal with the family unit he's now saddled with and being out of his depth so many times. Or Anya, whose very design itself is funny. I mean, look at her. Doesn't the sight of her just make you smile and chuckle? Plus, her telepathy as her acting in the most random ass ways that to the onlooker makes no sense, but because we know she can read minds as she's living with a spy and an assassin and is privy to their thoughts, her little reactions just make everything way funnier. And even Yor, you know a mangaka has a good sense of humor and excellent timing, because any good comedian worth their salt will tell you that comedy is all about timing. And Yor's comedic timing, whether it's her dealing with her city council colleagues, her brother, a relationship with Loid, a desire to be a good mother to Anya, or even when she's sweetly introducing herself just before she assassinates her target, hilarity, 10 over 10. But it's not just the comedy that works, the action is also fantastic. I mean, it is a spy comedy, so there has to be action in it, and the way it is balanced in the story is phenomenal. A lot of stories that claim to do both tend to always lean more on one side. It's either more action than comedy or more comedy than action. Spy Family walks the divide with an expertise that is just so satisfying. One minute you can be cheering Loid and how he's kicking the ass of the smugglers on his tail, then laughing at the way Yor effortlessly jumps in to kick ass with a "ooh, I took some self-defense classes" excuse, then fixated on how both of them will escape the goons crowding in on them, and laughing at a proposal that is executed using a ring for a bomb set against the backdrop of an explosion that is the result. It takes masterful skill to be able to maintain such tension all the way through, and Tatsuya Endo does that brilliantly well. Another thing that Tatsuya Endo does brilliantly well with the story is the pacing. Now, I know that in the anime, of course, we're only 12 episodes in, but so if you've never read the manga or you're an anime only type of person, you might not really agree with me as much because you've not experienced enough of the story to tell. But trust me, the pacing for Spy Family is so good. It's fast-paced while still allowing for moments in between for the characters to breathe, to have these periods of reflection, but also to have moments where they can feel like actual characters building actual relationships with one another. Frankie is not just Loid's informant, it's also a friend. So we see moments of him babysitting for the Forgers, bonding with their daughter and the last member of the family. We're able to see Loid and Yor's relationship grow. The latter is able to share insecurities, even though she only does that when she's roaring drunk. But you get the idea. When the action is strong, the story moves at a quick pace that is fitting for a spy story with an assassin undertone. And when it is family time or school time, it slows down, but never in a way that feels boring or like the author is just doing so to pad the work and stretch out the story needlessly. Every chapter contributes to the story being told. It furthers it in a way that nothing drags and everything just works. And then there's the characters. Spy Family has quite the interesting roster, with every character bringing something to the table to make this quite the entertaining story, one that flies by really fast. The characters of Loid, Yor, and Anya Forger are so well developed and so well rounded that you find yourself rooting for them and hoping that they can make this pseudo family of theirs work, whilst they each found the fulfillment that they don't know they're looking for. And you can see that in quiet moments throughout the story, moments where later in the manga Loid would have certain reactions and come to certain conclusions that gives us a clearer view of who he is, his history, why he's the way he is, and what direction the story should take his character, so that there can be the moment of character growth and satisfaction at the end of the story. The same goes for Anya and Yor as well. But the interesting thing is, this also applies to the minor characters in the story, some of whom we've already gotten glimpses of in the case of Frankie and how he helps Loid as both an informant and supplier of his spy devices, Q to Loid's bond, and Yuri, Yor's younger brother, who is important to the story. The same goes for Headmaster Henry Anderson. Even in the short glimpses we've gotten of these characters, we have a clear understanding of the type of characters they are, their relationship with the main characters, an idea of how they might contribute to the story, and the fact that, like the main characters, they too have room for growth. Another reason why Spy Family is so good is that some of its characters are adults with adult problems who act like adults in a shonen story. Now, what do I mean by that? Most shonen stories have teenage protagonists which have either both parents dead or one parent is dead, and basically these characters have to act like adults in the story and also grow up very, very fast, right? We've seen this in One Piece, in Bleach, in Naruto, in My Hero Academia, in Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen. The list is endless. Spy Family, however, has actual adults who are centered to the story. They are both protagonists and supporting characters, and they have adult concerns, whether it has to do with them approaching the age where they should be married and aren't, getting their children into good schools, trying to find fulfilling work that would also help them serve their country, how to be present for their kids. It's quite a rare thing to experience in shonen. And no, I'm not saying Spy Family is the only one of its kind. It's not. I'm just saying it is rare and that is great. Now, because the adults are acting as adults, it leaves room for the kids to act like kids, which is why Anya is able to be a kid. She's able to be excited about things and scared and silly and helpful in her own way. All of this contributes to yet another reason why the story is so good. Anya gives readers the chance to remember how life was for them when they were 6. Because I don't know about you, but I would have loved to have had a spy dad and an assassin mom at that age. Would have loved to be able to read minds. Hell, I still want to be a telepath even now. The innocence that permeates Spy Family at its core is mostly because of Anya's charm and childish innocence. And the reason we're able to experience said charm is because Anya is able to be a kid. And then there's the found family trope that's present in the story. Now, found family is one of my favorite tropes ever. I think it's just a beautiful thing to realize that we have the power to choose our own family, especially because some biological families just don't work. Some of them are incapable of giving us what we need. We might not be able to choose our parents, but we definitely can choose our family. It's yet another reason why One Piece is one of my favorite stories. But we see this concept of found family reflected in Spy Family, whether it's Loid's choice to adopt Anya, his relationship with Frankie, or Yor's choice to raise a brother Yuri and create a family system where he grows up knowing that he's loved, which is why he absolutely adores his sister, even though she too was a child when she was raising him. Or it's the family unit that the Forgers create. Spy Family shines brighter with the threads of chosen family woven within it, and it definitely contributes to the wholesomeness of the story. But even with all the conversation about the awesomeness of the story and its slice of life approach and the innocence that Anya brings, it's important that we not forget that this story still centers a spy and an assassin, the latter of which kills people in very interesting and occasionally brutal ways. And it's the fact that Tatsuya Endo is able to switch all of that around and still maintain the tonality of the story in a way that people sometimes forget that Yor can in one moment fillet a man and in the next be serving tea to a family. It's masterful storytelling and having a good grasp of the story you're offering your readers. I mean, how can we not love a story like that? And finally, all of this put together, effortlessly blended as they have been in this one story, makes the story, I think Anya says it best, waku waku. It's exciting and it makes me positively excited and looking forward to October and Saturday, and you should be excited too. So tell me, if you've watched Spy Family, how excited were you about it? Did you love it? Did you enjoy it? Are you looking forward to October when it returns? I mean, what are your expectations? What do you hope to see? And also, if you're really enjoying the anime, do you have plans to start the manga? Because the manga is so good and I need more people to read the manga, because I repeat, the manga is so good. But yeah, that is 10 reasons why you absolutely should get into Spy Family. Preferably, one, if it is that you've never watched it, you should get into it preferably before October when the rest of season 1 resumes. Two, if you've read it, if you've watched it, rewatch it, because I plan on rewatching it again come September in celebration and anticipation for when it's good. Because, and that's another thing, that is like, if I want to add a bonus point, the 11th reason, right? The bonus 11th reason why you should, why we love Spy Family so much, why it is so good and you should absolutely watch it, it's because it has rewatchable value. You can rewatch it over and over and over again and you would never be tired, because it is that good and it is so well done and it is just phenomenal. And can you tell I really love Spy Family? Because I really love Spy Family. So yeah, that is the end of this video. If you've enjoyed it, please do not forget to like it, subscribe to my channel, turn on post notifications, and I'll see you next Saturday, same time, with a new video. Bye.